Newfoundland. These are snow crab spring rolls with Newfoundland snow crab inside. And then the little dipping sauce is bake apples, which are a Newfoundland berry. They taste, they're orange, they look like a raspberry, but the flavor is almost apricot-y and floral. And so it's a bake apple mignonette, which is sort of the traditional oyster sauce. So we put rice, vinegar, and chilies, that kind of thing. And these are the ubiquitous cod tongues. They are fried nice and crispy. We've paired them with a salad, which is a little unusual for Newfoundland. And then that comes with an aioli for dipping, so that's a garlicky, mayonnaise sauce. They're crispy and delicious. Jig's dinner is a traditional meal, and so what we've done here is we've taken all the elements of a Jig's dinner and put it in a cabbage leaf and steamed it to make it sort of a little bit more upscale presentation than a big old mess of food.
It's gourmet Jig's dinner.
Exactly. So all the flavors are there. And this is the soup. Now that is made with Kitty Vitty honey brown beer. Kitty Vitty is a local brewery, and it's actually brewed with real honey. This is made with fresh mushrooms and dried mushrooms, and it's partially pureed with a touch of cream and then finished with truffle oil.
That is a seafood pot pie, which is a mixture of cod, salmon, and cold water shrimp, with the medley of vegetables on the side and of course the puff pastry on the top. This is our Bacalao dish of the day, which is of course the salt cod pan-seared with the tomato, caper, olive, Mediterranean sauce on the top, with the basmati rice underneath. Now here we have the lobster. The lobster with the Lady of the Woods birch sap wine buttercream sauce. We have roasted potatoes and grilled vegetables on the side. This is the vegetarian gnocchi. We've garnished it with a bit of Parmesan cheese and pine nuts. There's also some nice sun-dried tomatoes and a medley of vegetables in there as well. So this is the salmon, by the way. It has the gin and juniper berry sauce and the roast potatoes underneath with the grilled veg on the side. So this one here is partridge berry, blueberry, and mango crumble with a bit of Newfoundland scald cream on the top. It's made by a local company called Glenview's. And then we've topped it, of course, with just a touch of mint. The one in the center is kind of our signature dessert for us. We call it the Republic Mousse. And basically it's a mousse in 3 tiers. The bottom layer is a green apple layer made with Rodriguez apple schnapps. Then we move on to a white chocolate layer, and finally with a partridge berry layer. And when we stack them, it does look like the Republican flag of Newfoundland and Labrador. And then we have a bit of whipped cream and a homemade partridge berry coulis on the top. And this is possibly my favorite dessert ever. It's called La Bête Noire, which means the black beast. And basically it's a flourless chocolate cake that Andrea so wonderfully makes. And this time she's made it with a bit of iceberg vodka and mint flavors.
So this is the Nautica. It's a relatively new product. It's a blueberry Shiraz. And what's really interesting about it is generally berry wines tend to be very, on the sweet side. And the wonderful thing about this one is that mixed with the Shiraz, it tempers the sweetness of the blueberries in a beautiful way, but also it brings some of the fruit back to Shiraz, because Shiraz can sometimes be so hot and peppery that a little of the fruit falls out. So I was really surprised by how wonderful this one is. And these are some of the Rodriguez products. They have a full line of everything from apple schnapps to brandies that they do to all these fruit wines. This one is a bake apple wine. These are local berries to Newfoundland. The other one is a raspberry wine. This is another one that we do by the glass. And that one's a touch sweeter. That's really lovely with chocolate dessert. You can imagine chocolate raspberry is a really great combination. And that's again about the same sort of sweetness. And this is a really interesting one. This is the Lady of the Woods, which is produced by the same people for another company. But it's actually made from the sap of birch trees, which is really surprising. It sounds awful, but it's wonderful. It's drier than the other ones. It's maybe about a 1 and a bit or so on the sweetness code. And the flavor profile is like Asian pears and oranges. And so we've used this one in cooking. It can be served, on its own as a dessert accompaniment or even as an aperitif. I mean, it's no sweeter than, say, a Dubonnet or something like that. But we reduce it in the sauce for lobster. And it's a beautiful accompaniment to sweet shellfish like lobster and crab. So, over the lips, over the gums, look out belly, here she comes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bon appetit in Newfoundland.